The story of the Americans began with the Siberians, who walked over a land bridge in search of food which is now known as the Bering Strait. The land bridge disappeared due to an increase in temperature. The melting of the ice also caused the caveman to hunt smaller game and fish. Later, about 10,000 to 5,000 years ago, farming was beginning to develop. It was believed that corn was the first thing to be grown. Small farming cultures began to grow into large, complex societies. There were many tribes in America. In South America, we had the Olmec, a thriving civilization, the Mayan, who had a dynamic culture. We had the Aztec from Mexico, the Inca, who created an empire 2,500 miles long. In North America, we had the Hohokam and Anasazi, who introduced farming to the desert. We also have the Adinas, Hopewell, and Mississippian, which were all societies that excelled at trading and building.
In North America, there was a vast amount of diverse land which helped the people. In California, they hunted, fished, and gathered. In the northwest coast, people mainly hunted fish and gathered shellfish from the beaches. In the southwest, the people lived in adobe homes and farmed in the desert. In the eastern woodlands, the large amount of wood was used for tools to make clothes. Most, if not all, Native Americans traded amongst each other. They would only use land for special activities, and they believed the world was filled with spirits.
With the arrivals of Europeans, trade routes that once were mainly towards North Africa now shifted towards the West African coast, bringing West Africa into a closer relationship with Europe. The Songhai was a large empire which ruled a large amount of West Africa. Its powers came from controlling the Trans-Sahara trade. Under Sunni allies, Songhai never lost a battle. Under Asker Muhammad, Songhai was organized into an administrative district. Officials were appointed to govern, taxes were collected, and trade was regulated. Benin was a great metal working society in the rainforest that traded with Portugal and North Africa. They created stunning works of art such as bronze sculptures. Congo mined iron ores to make tools and weapons. They wove palm leaf threads into fabric which resembled velvet. It was said the Congo system of government resembled that of many European nations at the time. Families in Africa were based on lineage, usually age carried ranked in society. Africans believe in spirits, but also in a great creator. Throughout West Africa, people supported themselves by fishing, hunting, farming, and herding, mining, and also trading. In West Africa, slavery was different from the Americas because slavery could be escaped if the slave married into the family he and she was serving.
Life in medieval Europe was organized according to each citizen's rank, also known as hierarchy. Since peasants were at the bottom, nobles helped them by giving them land. In return, the peasants gave the nobles crops, military service, and livestock. During this time, life had centered on the nuclear family, which was the mother, father, and children, all living under the same roof. Gender was an important factor when it came to labor. The male peasants usually did all the field work. Women sometimes helped out due to the fact that they were always taking care of the children and the home, and they also had to worry about the food that was to be eaten. The Roman Catholic Church had been weakened by the failure of the Crusades. Since they had failed, it had decreased the Pope's power, and the Reformation also harmed the Church because it split Christianity into Catholicism and Protestantism. The Crusades opened trade between Europe and Muslims. Due to this, European population increased and trade flourished. The Renaissance brought along many artistic changes. People began to paint with more detail, and Europeans took Muslim paintings and observed them to get inspired. The Renaissance gave new confidence to people to believe in one's self-human accomplishment. This encouraged them to go out and explore more of the world. Traveling by land was too expensive and difficult, so people needed new ways to travel. They did not consider sailing an option because it was too hard to keep the boat on the right course due to the wind. Later, captains began to use compasses and astrolabe to keep track of direction. The Portuguese began to sail around Africa and making maps, thanks to the new technology, and later made it all the way to India. This allowed Portuguese traders to cut costs and gain more profit.
Spanish explorers were looking for land where they could dig for gold, claim the land for Spain, and assert Christian ideas and morals on the people. The Europeans forced the Native Americans to work. The Native Americans had tried to fight back, but the Europeans' weapons were too much for them, and the disease from the Europeans also killed them, decreasing them in population. As more Native Americans died, Europeans kept losing workers, so they turned to Africa for slaves, since they were told that Africans are stronger than natives. It comes to a point where African slaves become an essential part of their lives, and because of that, they would drain Africa's population. Because so many trips were made, the Columbian Exchange was created, where new plants and animals could be sent to Europe, Africa, and the Americas, and those countries could also send items. As times passed, peoples from other continents decided to move to the Americas. Their different cultures made them fight with each other, which turned out to be one of America's greatest conflicts and challenges.